luxury meets very graceful and multi-talented Sohaila Kapur ji. So let's all welcome Sohaila Kapur ji.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, Sohaila ji, and a warm welcome on luxury.co.
Thank you.
And today we would love to know your story and your journey to being an artist, actor, director, producer, writer, and so much more. So we are all really curious to know about you.
Okay. Sorry?
I said, though you don't need any introduction, we would like to know.
No, I'm sure there are people who would like to know about me. My journey started off actually as an actor. In high school, I was one of the founder members of the Theatre Group. And I'm a founder member. And after that, many years later, I got interested in direction. So after being an actor on the stage for several years, I tried my hand in direction. And I think I was successful. And the moment I tried direction, I started a new group called Katyayani, which was my own, in which I directed plays. When I became a director on stage, I got offers of films and basically web series hadn't started then.
Okay.
So films, basically. And I did a few films, and then this web series came in, and I got offers over there. So I decided, when I was an actor, I just wanted to act, and after a while, I got fed up, and I said, let me try my hand at direction. When I became a director, after a few years, I got fed up. I said, let me go back to acting. So I went back and did films and web series, and then, of course, I've been trying my hand at writing all the time.
Great, wonderful. Yeah, I think in your journey of life, you keep experimenting and trying, and definitely there's a saturation point when it comes to doing a particular specific thing for a long time, and you want to get into another, side of yours and explore the other side of the industry, because it's quite huge and vast. Any field is really huge. So I also believe that Sohaila, you have been with the Times of India for long. So how did that shift happen from working for 10 years to the Times of India?
Yeah, it wasn't a shift. Actually, I am trained as a journalist. My profession is journalism.
Okay.
And I got hired by the Times of India. It was my first job. I stayed with them for about a decade. And after that, I moved on to the Free Press Journal. So I've always been writing, but as a journalist. I've written several, maybe more than 100 articles. I've written a book called Witchcraft in India. I've had a finger in every pie. Anything that's creative and related, I've had a finger in that. Whether it's acting, direction, writing, playwriting, I've been a part of that. I've enjoyed it. And of course, dancing and music too. So all the arts, primarily.
Wonderful. Awesome. And as a playwright, I believe you've written Ye Hai Mumbai Meri Jaan. If you can tell a bit about that.
Well, we had gone to Canada. We moved to Canada, me and my husband and my child. And he had come back to India for some work to wrap up stuff. And I didn't have a job at that time, being a new immigrant. So just to amuse myself, I collected my thoughts, and I remembered the time when we were kids, when we used to watch a lot of Hindi cinema. We were avid fans, but they amused me at that stage. They were also very amusing. And I remembered all the heroes wearing orange pants and pointy white shoes and romantic heroines behind trees, and suddenly flowers would pop up and there would be a chorus hiding behind the flower gardens. I laughed so hard. I remember having a very entertaining evening all by myself in my Canadian home. And then I thought, I'm a writer too, so let me pen my first play. That's how it came about, and I had such fun writing it that I never did a second draft. A lot of people told me you should have, it would have been more professional. But I said, look, I wrote it for myself. 2 days it was. And then, when I came back, Sanjoy Roy of Teamwork Films was, he was also new and young, and they were scouting around for a play. And I said, I've written this in my one and only play, but, the second draft hasn't come. He says, let me have a look and see whether it will interest people. And it never came back to the second draft. Apparently, he got the permission from the Arts Council of London, UK Arts, UK Arts Council. And they said, we will sponsor this. And it went to the Edinburgh Festival. Of course, Sanjoy directed it. But I was the playwright. I was for the premiere, and it was great fun. It was a huge success. And they had a 5-city UK tour after that, all sponsored by the Arts Council.
Wonderful,
So my first effort was a huge success. I've not written very much after that. I've written about maybe 4 or 5 plays, 1 or 2 for kids.
Yeah. Okay, great. Wonderful. Yeah, this industry is definitely very, very fascinating, and especially Bollywood. I had a guest from Tunisia, the ambassador of Tunisia, and he says what attracts me about India is Bollywood. So not only nationally but internationally, I think we all are very, very fascinated by the industry itself. And Sohaila, I would like to know about the brief was book authored by you called Witchcraft in Western India, which was also the reason for your selection as the anchor for a National Geographical Channel film on the subject titled Indian Witch Hunt that won the Best NGC Film Award 2004 and has been telecast several times on NGC and Discovery. If you can tell us something about the Witchcraft in Western India.
You know, when I was a cub reporter, a trainee actually with the Times of India, I've always been interested in the occult. And I read about this temple called the Chotanikara Temple near Ernakulam in Kerala. So I asked my editor, who was Daryl DeMonte. He's no more. He isn't alive anymore. He was a great editor and even a greater human being. And he said, well, I'll give you an opportunity. If you want to go, we'll pay for your fare. Go and see what you can find out. I mean, is there really any truth behind young girls being bewitched, and being exorcised? Because that temple focused on exorcism. So me and my colleague Arun Kumar, he took the camera, and we didn't have phones at that time. We didn't have mobile phones with camera, so he took his camera, and we went and we discovered a couple of very interesting things. One of which was that the girls who were possessed were basically between 13 and 21.
Okay.
Very few older women. You're talking about sexual exploitation today. It's all up in the air today, but it was kept under, it was a big secret. So whether the priests exploited them or not, I don't know. But it did make us suspicious that these are these nubile young girls, who apparently come here for treatment, and they have to live in the temple without their parents. Okay. So we also, we covered the Gurudi ritual, which is supposed to be the exorcism ritual, where you're supposed to throw blood onto the victims, onto these girls who are supposed to be possessed. But because the priests were vegetarians, it was a vegetarian temple, they made Gurudi, which is made out of haldi and milk, I think. It looks like blood, but there was no blood used. There were no animal sacrifices over there. So we covered it, and we were not supposed to take any camera in. They discovered we had the camera. They chased us out of the temple. We never went back for fear of our lives. But that got published as 2 major articles in the Times of India in the Sunday Times. The front pages, and Orient Longman, which used to be the Penguin of it, what Penguin is today in India, and HarperCollins, they approached us and asked us whether we would like to write a book on it. It was interesting. My colleague backed up at that time. He said, I'll provide you the photographs, but you can write it. So that's how the book happened, and it was a huge success, and they asked me whether I'd like to write one on exorcism, fully on exorcism then, after that. But I was a young girl, early 20s, and my mother said, nothing doing, you come back. What will lose you, for God's sake, you have a future ahead of you, you need to get married and have a family. So that didn't happen. Then many years later, I got a call from the National Geographic, and they knew about this book. It had run into 2 prints, and then after that, I think there were just a few copies left. Incidentally, there are still copies after so many years, and they are so expensive. I just read one of them was almost 10,000 rupees on Amazon. Shocked to learn this a few years back, but I think because there are only 2 or 3 copies left, they haven't gone into a reprint. That's why. Right. And it's available in London somewhere. Wonderful. So, it says on Amazon. Anyway, they got in touch with me and they said, we would like to take you as the anchor. I said, yeah, I'm a journalist, I'm an actor, but only a theater actor. They said, no, we'll come home and take an audition. That's what they did. And they made me the anchor of this story, which
Wow.
had which picked up stuff from my book, but it was actually a real case in Jharkhand. And I went there as an investigator, Sohaila Kapur, the investigative journalist who investigates this. It was very interesting. It was a dangerous journey and very exciting. And it won the Best National Geographic Documentary Award. And we went to Singapore to get it. And they filmed it, they screened it outside in the garden on a screen that was a 3-story large screen. Huge.
Wow.
Sitting on the ground, looking up and watching yourself about at least 1,000 times last time was quite an experience. And we went and we fetched the award. The director couldn't go, she was unwell, so I fetched it on her behalf, on Raki's behalf.
So you experienced some great adventure, some great experiences.
Throughout the filming, yes.
Yeah, also the fame watching yourself on such a big screen, that must have been amazing experience, I'm sure.
Absolutely. You know how the outdoor screens are? It was like that.
Right.
The drive-in cinema, yeah.
Yeah, Sohaila ji has authored other plays, many of which have been performed. Obsessions, A Club of Her Own, A Christmas Parable, Dracula Meets Page 3, and the musicals The Money Man and The Great Indian Wedding, written for film maker Shekhar Kapur. So here I would like to know, Sohaila ji, about your chemistry with your brother Shekhar Kapur. And I think it's in the family, the talent runs in the family. Both of you are so talented, exceptionally talented in the same industry. So how is the chemistry and how is it working for this movie with him, for this movie?
Well, the chemistry was that of between a bullying older brother and a cowering younger sister when we were kids. But no longer. I mean, we're extremely fond of each other. I still admire and respect him, and I take his advice in every aspect. And this is not a movie. This was a script for a play, which is why he approached me. Yes, I wrote it for him.
Wonderful, awesome. You've also adopted the Ramayana for the American channel HBO and done a lot of work internationally. So if you can tell us something about your international work, like there's a lot that you've done, I believe.
Well, the major part of my international work was working for Canadian television. I was in Canada for 3 years. I curated a program for them. I wrote the script. I anchored another program for them. So I was very busy with television. In fact, I switched from the print medium to the electronic medium in Canada.
Okay, great.
So that's basically my international work.
Wonderful. Yeah. And as an actor, you worked in almost 20 television serials and equal number of theatrical productions. Main role for Indian Witch Hunt, Phantom Bollywood web series. If you can tell something about the Phantom Bollywood series.
Phantom was a feature film directed by Kabir Khan. And much like they came for Indian Witch Hunt, National Geographic channel, they came to me for Indian Witch Hunt. Kabir Khan's casting director came home to test me for a role. They were looking for an actor for this film. And the mother of a young boy, a 15-year-old boy, who gets involved with the jihadi, he gets taken in by the extremist groups in Pakistan. So she is, she has no idea about where he is. So when the intelligence service goes to find out from her, she's very secretive, she's very evasive. The truth is she doesn't know, and that makes them suspicious. And she's very protective of her son, whom she hasn't seen for many years. And then later it happens that he's killed in action. He's only 15, and his group, the jihadis, send back his body in polythene bags. The blown body. And that's what breaks her, and then she decides to help the Indian government.
Okay.
So they came and they said, look, we need to, we went to the National School of Drama looking for an actor, and they said, हमारे पास तो नहीं है, पर एक actress है जो ये role कर सकती है. She's not part of NSD. So somebody gave them my number. They called me and they said, can we come and shoot you? I started laughing. I said, bhai, मैंने कभी किया नहीं है web series. I'm basically a writer and a director. नहीं, ma'am, you've been suggested. Can we just come? If it doesn't work out, it won't. It need not work out. But let's give it a try.
Wow.
So, and the casting director was Hani Trehan, who was a film director himself now. So they came, they shot me, and then I forgot all about it. And then I got a call from Kabir Khan Production saying, "Ma'am, Kabir sir likes it, and we've taken you. Would you be interested in doing the role?" I said, I took it as, I've been adventurous all my life, so I took that as an adventure too. And I went to Bombay, and that's how the film got shot. It was a very interesting experience and lovely working with Kabir because he's an excellent director and he's excellent with actors. He knows how to get the best out of you without frightening you, without intimidating you. And that was my first feature film. Well, I had done Rukmavati Ki Haveli before. That was years before when I was a young girl. And that too with a great director, Govind Nihalani. It was a national award winner. Again, I saw myself first on a huge screen at City Fort during the festival, and it was participating in the I think Indian Panorama at that time because it was a national award winner. So that's the first time I saw myself, and I'll never forget the feeling I had. The second time it was Indian Witch Hunt because that was a huge screen, about 4 times the size of the City Fort screen. Anyway, so it was a very good experience with Kabir Khan. And I did work with him again, this time for the Dubai tourism advertisement with Shah Rukh Khan and MK.
Right.
We went to Dubai for it.
That must have been amazing. We all look forward to meeting Shah Rukh Khan and being with him. I've got a chance to meet him once, and he's mesmerizing. Like you like kind of fallen off him after meeting him. There is something about him, charismatic about him.
I was sitting there with all these star directors and technicians, and Mukesh Chabra, who was the casting director, is the director himself now, Dil Bechara. He was there, so all these starry people were there, and so I felt a little left out, and I went and sat in a corner. I didn't want to seem to be a wannabe, wanting to, talk to them and notch up a few points with them. So I stayed away. And then Shah Rukh walked up to me. Apparently, Kabir told him I was Shekhar's sister. I never told any of them, but it's a small world, the industry. Word gets around. So he came and he spoke so warmly about my brother. He was so sweet. So I warmed up to him immediately. Uske baad shot apna fantastic gaya. He had to come and hug me. And I gave him all the warmth I could because he himself is such a warm person.
Yeah, and you got that comfort also, because I think he's a warm person.
Yes,
that's what we get to know from people in the industry.
He's an intelligent, warm person, yes.
Yeah, and would love to know about the most talked about Arya. You really acted very well in that, and everybody has watched that on the Netflix with Sushmita Sen. So, how do you think the difference of working in a Netflix movie and on a full screen? How does it, what's the difference?
First of all, it's not for Netflix; it's for Disney, Hotstar Disney.
Hotstar Disney, yeah.
Yeah, but you're talking about the OTT platform. I think the only difference I found was that in Phantom, there was this huge camera, one camera scenario. But that was many years ago. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And for technology, 6 years is a big time. Here, Ram Madhvani is another great director who also knows how to get the best out of his actors. He's the other, I'm lucky to work with him too. He had a 3-camera affair.
Okay.
And he has a very distinct way of shooting, which I think is unique. He makes you rehearse the scene like a play. Or he just gives you the scene, so we go around our moves, everything is blocked, the dialogues are said, and the camera weaves in, the cameras, 3 of them, weave in and out between us. So then he pieces together all the scenes, the shots of the scene, different shots that he's got. He pieces it together and makes a scene out of it. I think that has also contributed greatly to the effectiveness of the series.
Right. So it's a different kind of an experience, when you're working for this kind of...
Not really. No, it seems like you're shooting for a film. The only difference, like I said, was that the technology, the cameras were smaller, and there were 3 of them instead of 1.
All right.
In any case, I worked for television also. Television cameras were slightly smaller.
Yeah. And you've also been featured in various television ads and a song video, Tanishq ad. If you can tell briefly about those ads, the experience, and how was it?
Well, that was when I first came into the commercial, the ad world. That is a slightly different experience in the sense that you don't have a solid script like you do for the film or for a web series. You do have a script, but it's so short, And then there's more of the selling of the product. The process of shooting is the same. The camera is the same. Here also they use the film camera because the quality has to be excellent.
Right.
And as far as Tanishq is concerned, we shot overnight. It was a whole night shoot. I was so tired. I thought I looked very tired in my close-ups, but people have liked it. Commercials, the advantage is that you finish it off in a day or two and they pay you very well. That's why people like doing commercials, in between films. Or see, if you're thinking of a career, fine, you're thinking of a web series or a film, but बीच में जब काम नहीं मिलता है, it's a boon if you get a commercial because it keeps your kitchen fires going. So and a couple of others that I did. That's the main difference, that it's short and sweet, and sometimes you have to overwork to finish it off because there's a certain budget and a certain time limit you have to finish the commercial in.
Right. Great. Wonderful. Nice to know that, because not many people would know about what goes behind the camera and how it is working in a movie or in an ad, which you've really explained it beautifully. So I would like to tell the audience, Sohaila Kapurji is, as a theatre director, as one of the best directors at the Mahindra Excellence in Theatre Awards 2008. She's been a recipient of the Mahindra Excellence in Theatre Awards 2008. Television production and short features, one of the star anchors at Lok Sabha TV for a decade. She's been at the Lok Sabha for a decade, and you also have, Sohaila ji, the Web and Silver Streak website of your own musical channel as well. If you can brief a bit about that.
Yeah, I just want to correct you as far as the Mahindra Awards is concerned. I was nominated, I didn't win it. This play, Rumi, Unveil the Sun, was nominated in 11 categories out of, in 9 categories out of 11. So we had the maximum number of, no, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting 2. 11 nominations out of 12 or 13. So that year, we had, I think, all the years combined, I don't think any play has got so many nominations in so many categories. So, now what was the other question you were asking me?
Yeah. So other was about the web and your musical channels, Silver Streak website.
Silver Streak was about older women. I've noticed that women, once they pass 50 or 55 in this country, have, they considered like they should remain homemakers, or they should go abhi jaakar unko Haridwar chale jana chahiye, ya they should be nannies to the grandchildren while the young daughter-in-laws, the daughter's working, and they've got nothing better to do. I mean, unki zindagi khatm hai, bas ab घरेलू गृहस्थी और अपने जॉब में लगाना चाहिए. So that angered me for a long time because that's not the way I think, and I'm certainly that age group. So I started a group for women called Silver Streak, and we had a talk with top women achievers in their fields. Who were past 55 at the Max Miller Bhavan. They sort of tied up with us. So we used to have a high tea, and then we used to have this talk. Sometimes it was illustrated with videos, depending on whether the person was a painter. Like we had Arpana, we had Maya Rao, Krishna Rao, we had Anuradha Kapur, who was director NSD. Different fields. So if they wish, they could show videos of their work or stills. So that's how I started Silver Streak. And then women who came in, if they wanted to ask questions of these women, how they reached here, what they could do after their retirement, and after the children have flown, the birds have flown, and empty nesters, how they could get creative and maybe fulfill what they haven't been able to fulfill in their younger years because they had to get married, and they had children, and then they had careers. Like maybe somebody wanted to be an actress, So that was the series, yes.
Great, wonderful initiative, I must say. And if you can tell us something about your own music channel as well.
Music channel, Again, that was an introduction to young people who did other things but were bathroom singers or wanted to sing and didn't get an opportunity. We spent money on them, we sponsored them, we took them in a studio, we got the background music composed, and we recorded them. So Yeah, so we were introducing young people who wanted to sing but didn't get an opportunity. But I must say, I was one of them. I was not a young person, but I wanted to sing all my life. So some songs I have sung.
Wow, lovely. And you also yeah. You also like working with young people and taught journalism at the Times Media School. And your plays for children are Halloween, Panchatantra, and Rich Boy, Poor Boy. You have adapted several European plays which have been performed in partnership with the British Council, the Max Muller Bhavan, and the Swedish Embassy. So, if you can tell us some well-known actors who worked with you at early stage of their careers.
Yeah, there was Huma Qureshi. She was just out of college. There was also Tanishta Chatterjee, straight out of college, and then there was Raghav Chanana, who's very well known, who's an agent now in Bombay for actors, but she is one of the top voiceover artists. Neeraj Yadav, who's Delhi's top voiceover artist, and then there was one boy who made it in Splitsvilla.
Okay.
I'm thinking of, he became a Mohit. He came to me at that time. And also the boy who was in the Big Bang Theory, who still is there. Kunal Iyer.
Awesome.
Just before he got the break in the Big Bang Theory, he was there with me.
Wow.
So quite a few of them, yeah.
And then not only
it can't
they got into
sorry, yeah, tell
the
me.
Big Bang. I think they got into the Big Bang Theory, which is a really big thing. Getting into the industry, Hollywood, not just Bollywood. They've done international work, so that's amazing.
Yes.
So yeah.
I didn't train him. He just did production with me. Yeah. So I guess that itself is a training. Because I never ran a drama school. I trained actors through their performances during rehearsals. That was my training for all of them.
Wonderful. Awesome. And you have some few gems which have come out from your training and coaching in the theatre, I'm sure.
Yeah, quite a few of them. I don't want to name them as they're still coming up in the industry. These are the famous names.
Right.
That have done yeah, but I've had a few. I've had Bhupesh Pandya, who's apparently not very well right now, but he's a very talented actor. He worked with me. He played Shams in my production of Rumi, and he's been in many films. In fact, he was Anu Kapur's assistant in Biggie Donor.
I see. Okay.
He's done a couple of films. He's worked with me. And a couple of others. There's Padma Damodaran, who was teaching at the drama school in Bombay, and she's done quite a few television serials, and she's also been in a few films. And of course, there's Danish Hussain, the famous Danish Hussain, who was in Peepli Live, and who's the one who was part of Dastan Goi. He's one of the founder members of that group, Dastan Goi, along with Mahmood. He's worked with me. He was Shams in my play Rumi, and he won the award, the Meta Award, for his performance.
Wow, that's awesome. Wonderful. And Sohaila ji happens to be the member expert committee for many committees and recipient of many awards and accolades. So Sohaila ji, if you can tell something about the World Monologue game, since you are the only Indian selected for the world competition which is carrying on, and the only Indian actor for that. If you can tell the audience about the World Monologue Game.
Well, the World Monologue Games is an initiative of a group in Australia. And that their idea was that actors are out of work everywhere in the world. So why not initiate a competition for them, which will give them prize money to the winners, but on an international level. So they asked for anybody who was interested in doing a monologue, either a 2-minute bit, which is the mainstream, or what they called endurance, a 10-minute monologue. It's not easy. So I applied, just as a lark. And at that time, I was extremely busy with some of my own productions. I didn't have the time. And in the beginning, I was going to do a monologue of one of my own plays, written and directed by a very talented young friend of mine called Sonali Sharma. I wanted to do the endurance because my monologue was pretty long in the play. I just didn't have the time to film it. So within about, I think, 5 or 7 minutes, an idea flashed into my head. And the next 15 minutes, I just shot it on my phone camera and just sent it. I honestly did it for a lark. The whole exercise didn't take more than 25 minutes where I was concerned. Thinking of it, conceiving, I didn't even write it. I just thought of it and switched on my camera, got myself a few shots and did it. And I was very pleasantly surprised, quite surprised actually, when I was announced as one of the regional contestants. The only one from India who was selected for Asia, South Asia, and the Middle East region. So after this, whoever wins that, there are two winners. The audience award, you have to vote for the person. Anybody can vote. And then there's the critics award. And whoever, the two winners go on to the global stage for the global prize.
Great.
And there's segments from everywhere. There's segments from the Americas, from Europe, from our segment, from Africa. So everybody gets together and you have about, I think, 75 people who will finally contest the world prize.
Okay, great. Congratulations to you for that, for clearing the initial stage at least, which is also really big. And that's the magic of technology. I feel now with the camera you can shoot and send it across. So it's become that easy, And
yeah, I would for auditions. Even for Bollywood, they ask you to do auditions at home
over the phone.
Yeah,
and send it. That's amazing. Yeah. And I would request all the audience to surely vote for Sohaila ji for this, because let's have the Indian to win it and let's stand by it and let's be there, That would be really great.
Their voting got over yesterday. They closed it.
Okay. Yesterday only. Oh. Yeah. So maybe still, we get to see you as a winner. Let's hope for it and let's pray. We all can pray. Yes. Yeah. And if you can tell a bit about How to Kill Your Husband with Ahana Kumar and Ramona, shot in the UK, which is yet to be released, the movie. Can you tell about it or no? No,
I can just briefly tell you. I can't go into details, but it's just a story of a young girl who's looking for her husband and who's disappeared. And she comes to England and she comes across this relative of hers. Actually a friend's relative, not her relative, not Ahana's relative, Ramona's relative, who's a bit not cranky, but kinky woman. And she might have been a hippie, if she had lived in the 60s, she would have been a hippie. And they get into her house and it's a lot of gypsy fun that these girls have with this elderly lady who's more like a teenager than anything else. So it was a fun role. I enjoyed it. Crazy role completely.
Looking forward to watching it once it's released.
Yes, and a lot of people are saying in the winter.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying hi, and some are commenting, we loved your role in Arya. Somebody is saying, we loved your role in Family Man. And Lisa is saying hi, good to see you both.
Hi, Lisa. Yeah, I know.
So, good to see you. Sohaila ji has been the national award-winning film with Igna Arun and Kittu Gidwani and Rukmavati
Ki Haveli. This is the national award-winning film I was talking to you about. Directed by Govind Nihalani. Yeah. It and also had Pallavi Joshi in it.
Yeah. So if you can tell a bit about Mahesh Dattani's Where Did I Leave My Parda, The Family Man, these movies.
Where Did I Leave My Parda is written and directed by Mahesh Dattani. He's a very well-known English playwright in the country. It's a very sweet but sad and story that tugs at your heart. It's about the partition. It's about this beautiful woman called Nazia, who's a theatre star. It's about theatre star in undivided India. So when the partition happens, her family stays back in Pakistan, obviously, but she has a lover who's a Hindu. And she comes with him to India. He's the lead hero. He's the hero of her plays. And her favorite play is Shakuntala, the one she keeps doing over and over again, which has made her a star. She wants to come to India and do Shakuntala. She settles down, and the trauma she has to go through, the people that she loses on the way. There's a scene in which, the train from Pakistan, people are slaughtered, and her families, members of her family die in it. So it's just the story of this woman who faces a lot of trauma, but who's also very egoistical. who's not also, when she's much older, she's not able to come out of that diva-dom. She's not able to leave her feathers behind and hand it over to someone else, a niece or younger sister. No, she holds on to it. It's a story of many of our stars, not wanting to step down and letting the younger generation take over. So it's very sensitively handled. It's her story and ultimately what happens to her. When all the memories come tumbling back, everything that she's locked up in a cupboard, the skeletons sort of, the cupboard's open, they come rattling out of that. So what happens to her in the end, and what the resolution is to all her problems. It's a very beautiful play.
Interesting.
I play Nazia. Yeah, I play Nazia.
Yeah. Okay, great. And as you know, Sohaila, the program is about madhurisluxury.co. I would like to know the definition of luxury according to you.
Luxury, you want to know the truth? Luxury for me is having a long and undisturbed sleep.
Yes.
That's the ultimate luxury for me, and getting up really refreshed.
Wonderful, beautiful. And I would like to go for a rapid fire round with you. So you're most passionate about?
Most passionate about my career.
Great. And your strength? No, that's good.
My strength, my willpower.
Your weakness?
Food.
Okay. And your favorite one-liner?
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Strategy in crisis?
Shut your eyes and wish it away.
Great. One relationship rule you always follow?
Never underestimate the feelings of the other person. Never.
Beautiful. And if you can define love?
Love is giving and hope.
Beautiful. And describe your 2020 in one word.
My 2020? Fearing COVID.
And cinema?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like cinema, books, or web series?
Sorry, I didn't get it. Cinema?
Books or web series?
Cinema.
And what is one thing that no one knows about you?
That I'm a singer too.
Great. Now we know it. So describe yourself in one word.
Cool.
Cool. Beautiful. I would like to have a message from you on COVID-19 for the audience.
Well, I have stayed clear of it. These last 3 days, I've had some irritation in the throat, and I've had people looking at me very suspiciously. All I want to say is don't fear it. There were moments when I feared it. Have the confidence that you're not going to get it. And even if you do, if you take care of yourself naturally, gargling and taking steam and eating normally and sleeping regularly, you're going to defeat it. It's going to go away in a week's time. So don't fear it. It's just a little more scary form of the flu. It's dressed in up like a ghoul, but it's actually just a normal flu. Which has become a pandemic now. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely message, must say. And thank you for taking out your precious time and being here. It's been a real pleasure and honor hosting you on the show. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Sohaila ji. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? I think there's a network issue. We've lost connection. So thank you, audience, for all your love and support. It's been great hosting Sohaila ji. And as you all know, the show is powered and supported by Padma Shri artist Krishna Kanhai ji, artist Aarti Zaveri, and I happen to be brand ambassador with Sari Sanskriti by Salma Sultan, and international fashion designer Aisha Khanna by the brand Nora USA. And any queries related to any of the segments from real estate, art, hospitality, destination weddings in Italy, fashion designers, jewelry designers, wellness, beauty, health, you can get in touch with madhvisluxury.co, as well as any queries related to finance, legal, and chartered accountants. We have it all under one umbrella. You all are more than welcome for any queries related to any of these segments. Thank you. Have a great evening. Bye bye.